Hey everyone, Ajay Manglani again from TiEcon2024, day 3. We are already seeing amazing lineup of sessions here. With me right now is Abhinav Shashank, the co-founder and CEO of Innovaccer, a unicorn over 3.2 billion in valuation in health tech company, and over 100 customers and impacting 60 million plus lives, the patient lives. Abhinav, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, I want to congratulate you, Abhinav, that you recently, like a couple of days ago, signed a huge relationship with Kaiser Permanente. They are using your AI-based health system to really what I consider the most important thing, drive equitable patient outcomes. Tell us a little bit about that. What is it?
Yeah, we're very excited about the partnership. Like obviously, like I think like Kaiser has been the OG of value-based care and equitable like healthcare delivery in California and now more nationally as well. And I think like a partnership with them to build up like I think the next generation of technology and using data and AI and embedding that into care delivery and like making healthcare more accessible to the vast majority, right? Like is a very meaningful like I think like change per se. And as they expand nationally, you've seen like I think they've acquired like 5 billion system like in on the East Coast, and they're expanding more nationally. Having like a data infrastructure and AI infrastructure of the way the Innovaccer platform provides is just going to be like I think like meaningfully important for them as they scale nationally. So we're very excited about the partnership. It's like one of the systems that we have respected a lot for a really long period of time, and getting an opportunity to work with them to do meaningful work is like very exciting.
No, absolutely, and it's a real testament to you and your company that a large system like Kaiser kind of trusting you to do that. Tell us about, a lot of companies talk about building the health tech systems or the platforms, but it isn't really as easy, or it doesn't really translate into the outcomes. I'm sure it's not easy for you as well.
Yeah.
What is your and Innovator's secret sauce in terms of how it gets things done?
So we've been a data company forever. Like when we started, like I was 24 years old. Like all three of us as co-founders were 23, 24 years old, right? And we've been at it for a while. Like it's now like our ninth year. Like it seems like I think like it's all sort of like happening now, but we've been at it for a period of time. But our general view on this is that healthcare is hard in particular ways. That nothing happens quickly, and I think like a lot of companies basically lose patience, like especially tech, right? Like everyone wants it like now, right? And that doesn't happen in healthcare. Like it requires time and patience and like your ability to compound and build over a longer period of time. So I think like if the one thing that has basically like worked for us is that we've been patient. Like this is what we want to do. And we've been doing this like for a period of time. The first few years were like very slow, and then like I think like it started compounding. We've grown like at 100% like forever, right? So the thing that has been very relevant for us, because we did not understand healthcare, we never had that sense of we know more than the customer, right? So we went and partnered with them. Like we sat down like in hospitals. We never like we slept there. Like we built a lot of our products basically working with them. So it's been like a very collaborative build out exercise rather than like this is my product and you go take it, right? So I think that is what people need to understand, that in tech especially, that the typical processes of tech don't work in healthcare. And if you're going to work for healthcare, you'll need to find that middle, like, and move a little bit from your typical sort of like processes. This is why I feel like big tech has never sort of like really made like any meaningful strides like in healthcare. Like everyone sort of like has them as big customers, but like core delivery systems haven't really like utilized like big tech like in meaningful ways, because they're sort of like stuck in their ways, and healthcare requires like a more nuanced sort of like way, and like companies like Epic and Cerner and Optum and large companies have basically been like healthcare only sort of like companies. So that is what I would suggest for like any like entrepreneur in that way as well, that if you want to do healthcare, you can't do it like I think like in 10% of your time. You really need to focus and build for healthcare.
No, I mean that's absolutely spot on. So basically, an outsider in perspective, a customer centricity from the ground up and collaboration throughout the process, even till date, almost
Yep.
after 10 years, right? And we heard that from Nikesh as well, the CEO and chairman of the Palo Alto Networks, how he came in, he was an outsider to the cybersecurity industry, and to a certain extent, the enterprise product industry too, and how he is making great strides in terms of complete transformation. So, great session that you moderated with Warner Thomas, the president and CEO of Sutter Health, and you talked a lot of insights about that. What are the two key takeaways you want to share with our audience from that discussion?
I think like the first one was basically about mentorship and leadership, where he basically talked about his personal journey and how like it started as an outsider and how like mentors really helped him sort of like understand. So I think like for me like it's been pretty much the same. Like I think like I've had like incredible mentors, like everyone from like Girish, who's like Freshworks CEO, to basically Dheeraj, like who's been Nutanix CEO, Jonathan Bush, who's been Athena Health CEO. Like all of these people have graciously spent time with me. Like and like I've been like the lucky recipient in some way. Like who's sort of like gotten a lot of feedback and like how should you evolve, what like I think the role of the CEO is, and how do you basically evolve from like a 10-person company to a 1,000+ people company, and like all of those sort of like things. So I think the role that mentors really play in life, I think like is very understated, and I think that was one of the things that he sort of like started with, which was I think like aligned like and resonated so much with me. So that was sort of like one. The other thing that he sort of like mentioned, which I feel was very important, was around purpose, right? And like far too many people, when I meet them, I just feel like as the startup journey unfolds, or as any journey unfolds, you start with a purpose, and somewhere in the middle you start basically feeling like, oh, money is important and like all of these things are important. They're not really. Like I think they are outcome metrics. Like money will come to you if you do great work. It will not happen the other way around. So I think if you start chasing the wrong things, or like it just becomes challenging in some way or form to build a company that lasts. Right? As entrepreneurs, I've seen like I think like people start talking about things like exits and like exit for whom? Like this is your company, you have to sort of really build it until the point like I think the board really wants you to. Like and like I think like the thing is like just aligning yourself with purpose is probably like the only way to build like I think like long-term companies. So those were the two things that I think like to what Warner said, like it resonated a ton with me, and I would sort of like say the same to anyone who's basically building out a business.
And very well said. And Warner, in speaking with me just before you, he basically said 3 P's. I'm a marketer, so I need to do that. The purpose, the people, and patience at
Yep.
the end of the day, right? And in your case, you are also pretty much saying the same thing. Purpose, your customers at the end of
Yep.
the day, and then your internal ongoing collaboration with the
Right.
people. So you have been a great partner of Silicon Valley, TiEcon, and the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem here, and in general too. You are here at TiEcon2024. How has your experience been, and what message would you like to give to our audience?
Yeah, no, I think like Anita and you guys like have just put on such a fantastic like event. It's incredible to hear like Kesh and Jensen, like so many of these great conversations. So I think it was a fantastic learning experience for me, like frankly. So thank you so much for like I think like doing that. Firstly, like we've basically like I think like benefited a lot from like I think the graciousness of like such events. Like there is connections that get formed, and so whatever we can now do, if we are in a position to sort of like I think like meaningfully like I think like engage with entrepreneurs and people like who are wanting to do the same, we would love to sort of like I think like do the same. So thank you for giving us the opportunity, and like we are always like grateful to what TiE and like I think your organization sort of like does.
No, absolutely, and we could not be more prouder. Everyone, Abhinav, Shashank, the co-founder and CEO of Innovaccer, as always, a humble, grounded, rooted person focused only on purpose. Abhinav, thank you for joining us. Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.